Then the good, 20 years of VAT. It has led to increased tax revenues. The first year after it was introduced, revenues shot up by 20%, even though at a lower rate of 10%. Then less than 2 years after its reintroduction, the VAT was raised from 10% to 12%. This from IMF, VAT revenue as a percentage of GDP. You notice that even when the second introduction came, the VAT in 1999, 98, 99, the VAT revenue as a percentage of GDP was still below 1%. So in 2001, it was still below that. But in 2003, total VAT revenue as a percentage of GDP shot up to 3.3%. And currently, as we speak, 2017, the total VAT revenue as a percentage of GDP is now 4.4%. So it means that it's brought about increased tax revenue. Then the second one is a reduction in tax evasion after reintroduction. A paper I published with Adafula. We noticed that in 1994, the tax evasion as a percentage of GDP was what? 20.67%. Then in 1998, it was 19.64%. But a year after the introduction of VAT, reintroduction, the tax evasion rate dropped to what? 18.76%. So we're saying that with the introduction of VAT has brought about a reduction in tax evasion, tax fraud, and tax avoidance. Then the third issue, the good aspect of VAT, is that I'm saying that the VAT pivoted the introduction of National Health Insurance Levy. Because I'm wondering, it's a social intervention. But if it had not been linked to the levy and collection of VAT, I wonder if it would have survived. Though Honorable said it was actually part of this thing that was brought, VAT that was brought. But how many of us know about that? So, and the same thing applies to what the GET fund that Honorable spoke about. That VAT, the introduction of VAT, gave them a leverage for them to be successful. Then the fifth item is about VAT exempted items and zero rated. So I'm asking the question, by exempting certain goods and labeling certain goods and services as zero rated, are we addressing the regressive nature of VAT? Then the sixth item, the good side of VAT, 20 years of implementation, is the perceived effectiveness of VAT. We can see it. Over 180 countries have so far adopted and implemented successfully VAT, with maximum revenues being recorded. Out of that, it's only 3 out of the 5 that removed the policy initially. 3, including Ghana, have reintroduced. So there's the perceived effectiveness of VAT. The 7th area is the innovative self-policing feature, when documentation is simple and understood by the taxpayer. Then finally, there's the elimination of multiple indirect taxes. Now VAT, before VAT was introduced, as I mentioned here, we had 5 major indirect taxes. We have the sales tax, we have the hotels and restaurant tax, we have the advertisement tax, we have the betting tax, and the entertainment tax. So the VAT came to consolidate all this into one tax that will help avoid economic distortions, tax complexities that are normally caused by diverse indirect policies.